Doubles and coffee. You know, one positive that has come out of Rowley's disrespect of the PNM Constitution, the Parliament, the country of Trinidad and Tobago, the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. One good thing that has come out is that all African people in Trinidad and Tobago have now been released from the decades of brainwashing, the decades of injection of race into politics, the decades since Dr. Williams' 1961 Massa Day Done speech, where black people in Trinidad and Tobago were taught that you have to hold on to this power, that white man and Indian and other races are coming to take you and you must vote PNM. You can't vote for anything else, regardless of the policies, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the pain, regardless of the oppression of the PNM. You must stand as a black man and black woman and vote PNM, and to do anything else would be deleterious to your race. You would be a traitor to the black people of Trinidad and Tobago. One thing, the ascension of Stuart Smallpin Young by Rowley is to show PNM people that all of that was nonsense. All of that brainwashing, you're now emancipated from mental slavery, that they were always lying to you, that East Indian and African people were always together. Back in 1921, it was the East Indian National Association and the African National Congress who got together to get us democracy. It was Uriah Buzz Butler and Adrian Cola Rienzi, an Indian and African, who fought to move us forward from colonialism. It is only in 1961, in fear of losing some power, losing an election, that Dr. Williams injected race, and we have never recovered from that. If you want to understand, let me read a bit for you from this book, A Constitutional Transition by Kenneth R. Lala. Now, there are many books to read, but this one gives you an insight from an intellectual point of view with a human being who understood the politics, who lived it and loved it, and it gives you an analysis. Let me just read a little bit for you from when race was injected, and now you understand that it was all nonsense, it was all brainwashing, all of you who tell me, remember Tanti in Bagatelle in 2007 who said, Anil, I love you and Spangalang, oh Lord, the power drive, you talk so much sense, I listen to you every day at 4:20, my radio on, my grandchildren have to keep quiet because they have to listen to the facts that you presented. She said, but Anil spoke. Let me tell you something, boy. I had to be honest with you, you know. I love you, you know. You make sense, you know. I agree with you. But let me tell you the truth. I prefer a thieving African than an honest Indian. I was speechless at that time. So to all of those who have been brainwashed in that way, maybe not as intense, but in some form or fashion, to just automatically vote PNM because somehow you feel to do different would be a betrayal of your race, let me tell you that that has been relieved. It has been released now by Rowley ignoring the PNM Constitution and putting a half Indian, half Chinese to lead the PNM and to lead the country, the Prime Minister to be the Prime Minister. And in the vote that took place in Tobago, the only 2 out of the 21 East Indian MPs, Johnny Sukaran, aka Faris Al-Rawi, and Terence Convent Gyal Singh, the only 2 Indian in the PNM 21, they voted for the African lady Penelope Beckles rather than the half-Indian Chinese Stuart Young. So it just shows that all the talk about race is nonsense, that you need to kick in your cognitive faculties and think about policy, think about economics, think about the health situation, education, infrastructure, water, these things, because race is an emotional thing that was injected. And let me show you when it was injected by Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. Page 27 from Kenneth Lala's book. On December 22nd, 1961, Williams was addressing members of his party in Woodford Square when he told them that on December 4th, 1961, the Trinidad Guardian announced that Sir Gerald White, a local white man, had joined the Democratic Labour Party, the DLP. He told his audience that the announcement was presented in such a way as to suggest that that was a feather in the cap of the Democratic Labour Party, the opposition, and therefore the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago should follow the lead of Gerald White. Dr. Williams had been so obsessed with the Guardian's announcement that he poured scorn on the Guardian and the white community, reminding them that our population today was far too alert and sophisticated to fall for any such claptrap. Williams continued, he told the Guardian, "Massa Day done." Williams also accused the DLP of being a stooge of masses who still exist in our society, and for wanting to keep back social progress, and for wanting to bring back Massa Day. What Williams would seem to have done was to drive, this is Kenneth Lala analyzing the situation now at that time. What Williams would have seemed to have done was to drive a thick wedge between the African community and the rest of the population, which was no doubt the genesis of racial polarization of voting in Trinidad and Tobago, and Williams's legacy of divide and rule. And to crown it all, he told those who did not support him, "If you don't like it, get the hell out of here." Reginald Dumas, a former diplomat of Trinidad and Tobago, commenting on the 50th anniversary of Williams' Massa Day Done speech, stated, and I quote, "The famous Woodford Square speech by Eric Williams, I say famous, but for many persons it was one of the most infamous statements ever made in this country by Williams or anyone else. Such persons are convinced that it triggered a societal indiscipline which has only worsened over time, and from which Trinidad and Tobago is still unlikely to recover." Race injected into politics by Dr. Eric Williams and the PNM. Before that, East Indian and Africans always joined together to move Trinidad and Tobago forward. In 1986, East Indians and Africans joined and moved Trinidad and Tobago forward. In 1995, the same thing happened. East Indians and Africans joined together to move Trinidad and Tobago forward. In 2010, East Indians and Africans joined together to move Trinidad and Tobago forward. And go and check, energy sector was up, reserves, foreign reserves up, foreign exchange, economy, jobs, education, gate, opportunities, crime was down. This happens when Indians and Africans in Trinidad and Tobago unite and move forward. It is only the PNM that injects this race from since Dr. Williams, and it got worse over the decades. And some of you have believed it generation after generation, but now Rowley has showed you that it was all a lie, that it is nonsense, that don't get too caught up with the emotions of race. Deal with issues. If you love sport, who is better for sport? Shamfa or Anil? If you love water and you need water to live, who is better? UNC Ganga Singh or Marvin Gonzalez, 12% man? If you need jobs, who is better? Kamla or Rowley? 55,000 jobs created or 300,000 jobs lost. Economy, foreign exchange, infrastructure, electricity rates, safety, security, border protection. These are the issues to vote on. Because even in the PNM now, they shattered their own myth, because there is no racial divide. It never existed. We are all Trinbagonians. We bleed the same blood. So vote on sense. Vote on policy. The PNM has freed African people from the mental slavery of Dr. Williams' nonsensical racial divide in politics. So bless. Get ready to vote now. African, Indian, all mix up, all together, against the tyranny of the PNM. Bless.